Welcome back to the PigX Podcast. We're excited to launch into another great episode with all of you. If you're new here, be sure to hit subscribe so you can hear each month when a new episode is dropped to learn more about swine industry insights, all tied back to the piglivability.org project. In today's episode, we're exploring the intersection of technology and management decisions for livestock producers. Joining us is Dr. Isabella Condotta, an assistant professor at the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. Today, Dr. Condotta and I will talk about her expertise, discuss key findings from her research, and talk about how those findings can be implemented for producers and people working in the swine sector. Throughout the episode, we'll address the common questions about adopting new technology on farms. You'll learn considerations when thinking about how to use real-time data coming from a lot of new technologies, and hear Dr. Condotta's perspective on whether the industry is ready to embrace these innovations. To kick things off, let's dive into her connection to agriculture.
I am an agricultural engineer by background. I got my degree from the University of São Paulo in Brazil, and I'm currently an assistant professor at the University of Illinois in the Animal Science Department. So I work on this intersection between engineering and animal science and computer science, improving animal production using precision tools.
What an interesting background and an intersection to be within as well. How did you find yourself at the University of Illinois?
So I developed research in this area since my undergraduate. So I was just pulled towards that side of production, if you will. And I did some research in the University of Nebraska, and while there, an opportunity opened at the University of Illinois to work with precision, and then I applied and I got the job and started doing this kind of research just starting 2020.
So when you think about that intersection of technology and livestock management, how would you define precision livestock farming and management?
So to put in simple words, it would be the use of technology for monitoring animals in real time. You're going to be monitoring several aspects of the production system, such as health, production, reproduction, and just physical characteristics of the animals.
The other question I'm curious to know is, why is this a tool, or should this be a focal point right now for the swine industry?
It really is a tool to improve efficiency at the farm. So you're looking for the efficiency to be increased just because we have labor that it's maintaining. The number of people at the farms is not really increasing that much, but you do have more and more animals that need to be raised to address the population increase and consequently the animal product demand. So we are looking for increased efficiency, but we are also looking to maintain or improve animal welfare and health. We are also looking for environmental sustainability and still keeping systems profitable while helping the farmers to have a better work-life balance and take care of those animals.
So when you think about maybe collecting all the different data points and being able to manage your livestock operation, why is there an importance to do it in real time?
So the real time point is if you collect data in real time, you are able to see changes faster. If you take a week, for example, to receive that data information, you might miss things when they start. And that will generate issues later on. Just to give an example, if you're looking for animal body weight and how it changes over time, if you can really see a daily gain and you realize maybe your animal didn't gain as it should over the past 3 days, for example, maybe there is a health issue, and then you can take a decision faster. So that real time is very important when you are trying to be more precise and more efficient with your resources.
Based on some of the research that you've done in this space, how do you collect that information in real time?
You have to use sensors. There's no way of manual assessment of all the animals in the farm in real time. You really need to use sensors. Then you would have options for sensors. You have your wearable sensors, your non-wearable sensors. Specifically, I do research with non-wearables and more specifically camera systems and microphone systems. But any kind of sensor is valid as long as it's providing you with the information you need to make those decisions.
Tell me more about some of that research that you did within non-wearables.
So using computer vision, we are looking into physical characteristics of the animal, such as dimensions, and the body dimensions we can use to predict body weight, body condition score. We can also analyze an individual activity level over time or movement patterns to assess things such as lameness, to understand patterns that correlate with estrus or that correlate maybe with motor ability of an animal.
So the other option is wearable sensors. What would be examples of those types of sensors that you could use?
Your most used wearable sensor for pigs will be the ear tag. So that ear tag will have internal sensors, not only it's an RFID tag that gives you identification of the animal, but also you might have an accelerometer that can give you information of activity of an animal, which can be then correlated to behavior. You can also have temperature sensors within a ear tag that will give you physiological information as well on those animals. Sort of like a smartwatch for human, you would have the ear tag for the pig.
As you think about the research you've done in the non-wearable space, what was the setup of the microphone and cameras that you used to collect and do that research?
Oftentimes, I tend to use top view images just because specifically for pigs, if you try to put cameras on their level, you might end up with issues. Pigs are curious. They might destroy your cameras, but also it gives you a better view of the entire barn. With one camera, if it's a top view image, you can analyze more animals with one sensor. So also there's some cost reduction there. And maybe you have a better understanding of what's happening, not only with the individual, but as a group as well.
When you think about assessing that data then from the cameras, from the microphones, what were the questions that you were trying to answer from those samples that you were collecting?
Mm-hmm. So the first thing is we are trying to understand how fast we can analyze our data sets. Generally, we'll collect videos, and then those videos become frames. There are several ways of analyzing video data or image data. There's your more classical models that would use classical image processing techniques, but that maybe is not the best way of going about doing real-time analysis because they take a little bit longer. You might not have the computer resources at a farm to do real-time analysis. So we are looking for, is it something that we can use to be fast? Second thing is, can we use those cameras? Can we use that technology at the farm? Is it going to be something that is going to be destroyed? Does it need more time to be processed? So we need to understand our resources at the farm as well. So those are some things that we are looking.
You also mentioned research into weight predictions, body condition scoring. Is that research that you have been part of, or just research that you're looking how precision can fit into that mix?
I've been part of those. Weight prediction was my master's research. I did that both at University of São Paulo and University of Nebraska, and actually collected the data at the USDA facility that they have in Clay Center under the supervision of doctors Brown Brando and Silva Oliveira. So some of those researches I was involved as a student, and some of the research I was involved as a assistant professor later on, and some of it is my students now developing those things.
So as you look at those other areas of research that you've done, why was the focus placed on things like weight prediction or body condition scoring?
We're generally looking for things that are main issues within the production. So body weight is something that we are very interested, not only on a production or farm user perspective, but also genetic companies. They are interested on understanding if a genetic line is gaining more faster or differently than another one, for example. Lameness is a big issue within the swine industry, specifically for sows. Body weight, the same, because a sow that's pregnant might be on the heavier side, but not necessarily that's correlated with body condition. It's just a normal pregnancy time point. So weight might not mean much when an animal is pregnant, for example. So we try to really address the variables that are more important for the industry.
And then your current research is really looking on behavioral identification through wearables and non-wearables. What are some of the different behaviors that you can assess for in real time?
So when we are looking to behaviors, the one step before behavior is postures first, right? So we are looking for things such as lying down time or standing up time. And then we start looking, after we become good on those postures, then we start looking at actual behaviors such as social behaviors or animal interacting with one another, or feeding behavior or drinking behavior as well. And those are, when it involves more than one animal, then those things become a little bit more challenging, but you can make correlation with more things. So those are the things we're trying to look for and use artificial intelligence to really be fast on detecting those behaviors and analyzing those behaviors over time and understand correlation with other aspects of the production.
I have a question you didn't really necessarily tackle during your presentation at Iowa Swine Day, but I'm just curious for your opinion. Is the livestock and swine industry more specifically ready for widespread adoption of precision farming as a management practice?
That's a tricky question. I'm not sure if everyone is ready, but definitely the industry is open to start using some of those technologies. There are several companies that have appeared on the past, I want to say 5 to 10 years, that they are developing very cool things and farmers are starting to use. There's always the early adopters, and I think we are seeing that stage. And as time passes, I think we'll see the industry adopting more and more. Now we are in a critical stage of we need to build that trust. So companies really need to put out good products that work as they are supposed to, so we can build that trust, and then more and more farmers will start using and adopting those technologies. But definitely I see that as the future.
A lot of great insights into what to consider when exploring technology and how it can be applied in your operation. Again, a big thank you to Dr. Condotta for joining today's episode and sharing her research findings. And thank you for tuning in to this month's PigX Podcast. Another year means another exciting lineup of episodes for you, our listeners. Remember, new episodes are released on the first Monday of every month. But go ahead and just hit subscribe so you'll be notified when those drop. Join us again next month for another timely discussion on all things swine. Until then, I'm Delaney Howell, and this has been the PigX Podcast.
PigX is a national podcast hosted by the Pig Livability Project partners at Iowa State University, Kansas State University, and Purdue, and supported by the Iowa Pork Industry Center. For more information on the project, head to www.piglivability.org, or to inquire directly with questions regarding the project, email ipic.iastate.edu. PigX, ideas in the swine industry worth sharing.